What's the crack, guys? I was hoping to start the water rice jar experiment today. However, I just realized that I'm 2 jars short. Now, usually for this experiment, you only need 3 jars, one for love, one for hate, and any other you ignore. However, with the experiment that I want to conduct, there's going to be 5 jars in total. Now, the other 2 jars you won't know until the end of the experiment, but hopefully all goes well with it. But from the next video onwards, we'll definitely get that up and running. So, let's go ahead and watch some creepy TikToks.
Good evening, Usher. How you doing tonight? I'm doing fine. You're getting better now that you're here. All right, give me a look over here, Usher. Give me that great smile here. Give me that Super Bowl. Give me that Super Bowl smile, Usher. Give me that Super Bowl smile. You got more money on that necklace than I got in my house right here. Let me see, Usher. Give me a look right here.
You tell me what straight male walks out in public wearing a skirt. Yet no straight man walking out in public wearing a skirt. You can even see it in him that he feels ashamed and humiliated. You know, the things he'd do for reptilians.
Tell me that ain't. Tell me.
Mobile phone in 1938. A video phone in 1995.
I know I'm not tripping now. Bruh. Bruh.
If I looked identical to Abraham Lincoln, you can bet your champions 2026 they'll be trying to run for president. In fact, someone should just grab him anyway and try and push him out to be elected for president, because he'd probably do a better job than what's being done now.
Nobody can dispute the fact
that you're a rapist.
that we need.
Bill Clinton is a rapist. Bill Clinton is a rapist.
That's the problem.
Here's the problem.
And
Bill Clinton is a rapist. Infowars.com.
Whoa. I love the fact how these guys finished both of his sentences on point, but the fact that he's not in prison just shows you the corruption of it all.
You ever wondered why the Anunnaki are not mentioned in the Bible? This is a mystery that has puzzled scholars for years. The Anunnaki are ancient deities believed by Sumerians to have created humans, yet there is no mention of these powerful beings anywhere in the biblical texts. Some theories about their omission include that the authors were simply unaware of Mesopotamian traditions featuring the Anunnaki. The Bible was written solely by Israelites with no external influences. It's also possible their story contradicted biblical monotheism by involving other gods and human origins alongside Yahweh. Meanwhile, the Anunnaki myths predated the Bible by centuries, so may have been forgotten by the time biblical books were composed. Intriguingly, figures like the Nephilim have been interpreted as potential veiled references to the Anunnaki, or religious authorities may have deliberately chosen not to mention other supposedly potent entities in order to consolidate authority without risk of rivalry from potential competitors. So in the ongoing debate between history and faith, the absence of the Anunnaki from the Bible remains an enduring enigma.
Well, for me, I believe that Anunnaki is fallen angels, and I believe that a lot of books have been missing and are hidden under the Vatican. I believe that those books probably contain information about the Anunnaki, but that's my opinion.
Many people believe that hell is not a real place. The images that you're about to see can be very disturbing, so I do have to warn you, viewer discretion is advised. This AI-generated content is unreal, and it gives a depiction of hell. So this is your last chance to skip, and I have a question to ask you. Hell is a real place. And if you were to die tonight, do you know beyond a shadow of a doubt 100% that you would go to heaven? If you want to make sure, just repeat after me. Say, "Dear Lord Jesus, come into my heart, forgive me of my sins, Set me free in Jesus' name. If you said this prayer, comment below and click follow.
To the elites, the cabal, and the reptilians, welcome to hell. Please enjoy your stay and don't have too much fun.
There's no mic stand. And now there's a mic stand. Because even when it backs up, it's like not near her body at all. No mic stand. Because there's no stand. Mic stand.
Some might say that it's a glitch in the Matrix. Others might say that it's called a stage for a reason. Either two things. Either this isn't live, or she's just a witch and she's performing some mad magic here.
Okay guys, I'm going to do a really cool trick with physics. So what I'm using this water bottle with a rope and these 3 toothpicks. I'm going to suspend this water bottle off of 1 toothpick off the edge of the table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to suspend the water bottle off of this toothpick and it's going to hold the water bottle. I use something heavy like this milk bottle to hold on to this while I build my little contraption. So now that it's hanging here, I'm going to put this toothpick in between the rope like this. I'm going to bridge the gap between this toothpick with this toothpick. Now that those are suspended like that, I'm just going to relieve the weight from the bottle. And that's being held, all of that is being held by 1 toothpick on the table. There's nothing else here. I can even free move the bottle.
If you have any toothpicks laying about, you got to go ahead and try this and let us know in the comments how you got on. But for me, it looks as though the top toothpick is for the support, the water bottle is for the weight, and the bottom toothpick is for, again, support. And then the upright toothpick is for leveraging the top toothpick. Scrap that. I don't know. That's not only a new fear unlocked, but that's paranoia unlocked with it. When you say no to your wee one and this is the response you get.
Everyone, I'm Iluma, Tesla, Cybertruck, very cool, very cool. I love you, Cybertruck. Beautiful. Wow, okay.
When you buy something off TeamU and then you realize when you get it, it wasn't what you ordered.
And this copper goes down into the bottom of that planet, goes west, comes out, goes underground, goes into this one, underground, it goes through all of them. Then you bring it over here, and it's hooked up to the bottom of this aluminum pole, and they got a big zinc bolt in it, so it causes an electromagnetic field. You go around, and there's no bugs here, no bugs. That all grew in 5 days, everything doubled in size. That went from here to there. This is spilling over. That grew about 1.5 feet in 5 days.
For those of you who garden, have you tried this or would you be willing to try this? They say that when it comes to like bugs and bacteria and diseases, that sort of thing, it doesn't actually survive on copper, so it could be something worth considering.
This is what it looks like 100% of the time when you open this. This movie right here is Jurassic Park, for instance, okay? I'm just showing this to people who have never seen this. For the last 15 years that I have been using Sony Vegas and other editing software and have gone through downloading movies and using them in our own video production, 100% of the time, it's either an MKV or an MP4. Occasionally you'll download a torrent that's an AVI, not very often. And this is what it will always look like. One video file right here, one audio file right here, always. That's been my experience. Now let me show you what happened when we downloaded and put the movie Leave the World Behind onto Sony Vegas. Here you go. Stunning, stunning. One video file, 4 audio files opened up. And this one, this fourth audio file, seems to be the weapon. This is a ELF, low frequency infrasonic wave right here. And so we are gonna, let me put the camera back on again. So this is big news, just so people realize. In 15 years of video editing, I have never downloaded, and I'm speaking specifically a movie file, okay, a Hollywood movie from a torrent, downloading it in either MKV, MP4, occasionally AVI. 100% of the time, over 1,000 movies I've done this with, you have video file, audio file, period. This is the very first time I've ever seen anything like this with the 4 files. Bonnie's going to go into now talking about the infrasonic sound waves and what we found out about that, and the fact that there's one here. And the point is, we're going to go back after Bonnie gives you some information about what it is we're dealing with, how this is a weapon. Then we're going to go back towards the end of the live stream here, and I'm going to hit specific places where this weapon was used against anybody who watches it, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and get your tabs up there.
I honestly can't deny or confirm this because the editing software I use is a lot different, so I don't need like 6 audio files, for example. But yeah, he could be true what he's saying, and he just could be talking absolute tripe. To me, that looked like a big jellyfish and a starfish in the sky, but is it just me? Like, am I the only one who's not witnessing anything in the skies, or like what's going on? Because there just seems to be so much like supernatural stuff going on, and like I'm the one like missing out here.
This device is called wireless neural dust. It's a tiny electronic transmitter that's smaller than a human hair. When it's placed inside a human body, it's capable of wreaking havoc. If you've never heard of this thing and never seen this before, then pay attention, because you need to know what this device does and how it affects a person's body once implanted. So let's get into it. Back in 2016, some scientists and researchers at Berkeley University came up with a way to control some bodily functions by attaching a sensor onto the sciatic nerve. They attached it to a lab rat and ran tests, found out they could move limbs and monitor breathing, heart rate, and several other things. The device is wireless, so it can be controlled remotely from outside the body. So researchers could be across the room or sitting in a parked vehicle and still be in contact with the device as it's inside the body of the host. The sensor itself is able to have its power charged and recharged by means of ultrasonic waves. The device converts those waves into mechanical energy, whereby recharging itself. The ultrasonic waves are, of course, generated outside of the implanted host, enabling the researchers to recharge the device at a distance. The device, when placed inside a human body, can manipulate vital signs, increase heart rate and blood pressure, or create a number of undesirable sensations. And all of this while being controlled remotely from across a room, or at a house or apartment next door, or from a white van with dark windows parked down the block using a high-powered transmitter inside. So let's go back over a few things that I mentioned. It's smaller than a human hair. It's wireless and able to be remotely controlled. It can remotely increase a person's heart rate and blood pressure. It can remotely move a person's arms or legs. It can be remotely recharged by using ultrasonic waves. I'll pause for a second and let you think about all that. I don't know if scientists developed this device to be helpful, but what's clear is that in the hands of a power-crazed control freak, this would be a torturous device that, if secretly implanted, could be used to torment a person in public while the psychotic tormentors sat at a distance pretending to be doing nothing at all. Researchers put together a short video that talks about the technical aspects of the device. It's a pretty boring video, but valuable information, so I'll attach it to the end of this in case some of you guys are curious about it. There's more to learn about this thing. The information I have here is from 2016. So if this piqued your interest, feel free to dig deeper. Let me know what you find out.
From 2021, training method of neural network for dust suction intensity control. Essentially, this is having the ability to control multiple different people who are hooked up to this neural network, aka the hive mind. Now, if you are somebody who is plugged in already, you have little computers inside of your body, right? You have this connected system, a wireless system in your body, and you can hook up to people next to you. This is why it's being said that some cell phones can detect if somebody next to you is plugged in, if they have the soup. Now, if you have inside of your nucleus a little microscopic computer, then think of it as if you were in a school and you were using a computer that's hooked up to your school network. Well, you are pretty much somebody who's going to be hooked up to a neural network, and this is how they are able to have people groupthink at the same time because of this hive mind. And a large part of this was done through the Human Genome Project. This project was a voyage of biological discovery led by an international group of researchers looking to comprehensively study all the DNA known as a genome of a select set of organisms. Basically studying the DNA, knowing every aspect, every component to the DNA, how it works and how to program somebody's DNA by getting that special code of your energy, your frequency of your DNA, your light code. If somebody gets your biometric code, then they can alter you as a person. The Human Genome Project was an international scientific research project with the goal of determining the base pairs that make up human DNA and of identifying, mapping, and sequencing all of the genes of the human genome from both a physical and a functional standpoint. And as you can see, the final gapeless assembly was done in January 2022 in the height of funding came from the United States government through the National Institute of Health, the NIH. The head of the NIH is Fauci. So the NIH was funding the Human Genome Project, and the NIH had a large hand in souping up people so they know how the DNA works. Are you following? A patent on your DNA, what the Supreme Court ruling means for you. It's all connected. Can someone else patent your genes? The Supreme Court is scheduled to rule sometime this month on that question. You can pause to read the rest. I have a lot to say, but the last thing I'm going to leave you with for today is, what is CRISPR gene editing? It's editing your DNA. This comes from Investor's Business Daily. Can CRISPR and these 3 small biotechs cure 10,000 diseases? Take one wild guess at who's a huge advocate for CRISPR. Investigators also found regions of DNA that were initially thought to have no purpose. These were controversially called junk DNA that does not code protein, but as it turns out, these sequences do have a key purpose in regulating the expressions of genes. Altogether, the better understanding of the human genome has allowed these biotech companies to utilize CRISPR, an acronym for the technology known as Clustered Regularly Interspaced Short Palindromic Repeats. How CRISPR technology works. The process developed at various universities essentially uses specialized strands of DNA that act as molecular scissors. Those scissors are capable of editing other DNA at specific points and allow biotech companies to edit, add, or remove faulty genes responsible for diseases. That's what they say, but y'all know how they get down. We think CRISPR gene editing is analogous to a DNA word processor with two functions: find and delete. In addition, scientists are working on a rudimentary paste function allowing CRISPR to insert appropriate DNA code to repair mutations. Right. Oh, interesting. Bill Gates says we need to embrace CRISPR gene editing for global development. Bill Gates has written a wide-ranging article in support of gene editing technologies. Well, in that case, fuck out of here. From GeekWire, why Bill Gates think gene editing and artificial intelligence could save the world. And this was in 2020. Interesting time to release that statement. Bill Gates and 13 other investors poured $120 million into revolutionary gene editing startup. That was in 2015, the same year that the was patented. That's all for today.
We cover a lot of topics and stuff on this channel, but to me, this is probably one of the most important pieces of information that we should be educating ourselves on. When you see for yourself just how long this study has been going on for, how long this experiment, you could say, has been going on for. And I looked them up, and it turns out that on the 22nd of April, they're holding a virtual meeting, and then from the 23rd to the 25th, in Copenhagen, Denmark, they're holding an in-person meeting. But whatever it is that they're working towards, to me, that tells me that they're very, very close to achieving whatever it is. But the question you have to ask yourself, and I know a lot of us do have our own kind of, theories in this, but the kind of questions you have to ask yourself here is, why would you invest so much? Why would you want this kind of technology? And why would you want so much control over people? There's so many questions here, but yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. And I love your ears. I love them. They're really cool. What's your name? Catherine. Catherine, what a beautiful name. That's my mommy's name. Well, nice to see. How old are you, 17? 6.
Truth be told, whether it's a joke or not, the fact that it came from Turkey Neck Joe should be enough to creep you out.
This is not fake, and very soon Earth will be split in half, and there's nothing we can do about this. Thousands of citizens in Iceland were terrified for months as scientists reported the dangerous imminent levels of their volcanic eruption, with sometimes 800 earthquakes happening in one night. Then several citizens were forced to have an emergency evacuation when they saw every crack in the concrete releasing black smoke while the cracks were growing as the sky was turning orange, thinking this was it. The cracks got so big as it opened the ground up, and when viewed from a helicopter, it showed the land mass was actually breaking away and splitting into two, with the Icelandic Minister of Infrastructure saying they have no idea when or if this will end. The haunting footage we see after the disaster looks like a post-apocalyptic world, as many homes and areas have been completely unlivable ghost towns. The magma is believed to be a long tunnel underneath the landmass, and it is moving at an alarming pace. Scientists say if it keeps moving, it could cause even more damage when it comes to the surface for many other places.
Yeah, the Earth is not going to split in half, but the fact that they had over 800 earthquakes in one night is just wild. But what's even more wild is the fact that they're all returning back home again to Iceland, when in fact the volcano is actually starting to really increase and ramp up again. Wild, like.
What do you think you're doing? It's illegal dumping rubbish. What do you think you're doing?
Sorry. Hey, stop. The camera. The camera. Give me your camera.
Get off. Get off. Get off.
The camera.
Get off. Get off.
Hey.
Good, for God's sake. God's sake.
Cartel.
I was curious to see what that guy was going to pull out of his bag in the first clip, but out of those 3 clips, the scariest would have been the third one because, you know, being in a wildfire, fire and smoke on both sides, no sense of direction or anything, that would just be terrifying.
The melted buildings, the landscape that has been raped by utter destruction. You can thank this man, King Nebuchadnezzar, Gilgamesh, Nimrod. It might be the only time in the history of mankind that mankind wiped out the creation with the use of a weapon of mass destruction with such magnitude it turned tropical areas of Africa into desolate, barren deserts. Melted buildings in Turkey, all up through Mongolia, China. The epicenter. This man, in such pristine state, 12,000 years old, and in this condition, can lend you a notion of what type of technology he had for the weapon of mass destruction he used. It reshaped Earth forever. You see, this being, who also used the initial of his name, Gilgamesh, as the symbol, for he is the original Mason, as you can see from his book of the Anunnaki and the Masons.
So much of our history has been taken away from us and hidden, and a lot of history being taught has been nothing but lies. Like, we don't even know a fraction of like the history that we have. But I say, if you take away the sand from the deserts, I would probably say that'll expose a lot of history in itself alone.
This 61-year-old guy named Cliff Young in galoshes. Galoshes are like rain boots, right? And gum boots. And he shows up to the race. He has holes cut in his pants for ventilation. He said he had no teeth. He said his teeth, he had false teeth. He took them out because he said that they made a noise, rattled when he ran. And people were looking at this guy and they're like, this guy's gonna kill over, he's gonna die like halfway through the race. And so we actually let him run. You know, we don't want to be responsible for this. What is this guy thinking? So the race began, all the runners took off, and Cliff Young, he began to shuffle. Yes, he began to shuffle, and just shuffling, it went along, and then he fell behind quite a bit, and people were just concerned that he was going to collapse on the road. But that night, when the others stopped to sleep for about 4 to 6 hours up running, he slept for only an hour. By the third day, because of his non-stop running, his lead had grown bigger, and the whole nation began to take notice because everybody was watching this race on TV and stuff. And his secret was in his shuffle, which allowed him to run for hours and hours with very little rest. He had learned this while, chasing sheep, as he grew up on a farm, right? When the people were dumbfounded with his technique, he responded, "I've got no experience, just raise in the and burn in the bush." He probably said that in an Australian accent. I'm not going to attempt that here. The newspapers reported that when he got to the front, he ran like a scared rabbit. He did not want to stop. Everyone was going, like saying, "Oh, this old balloon's just gonna blow up." He was just miles and miles in front of the rest. He covered 200 miles in the first 48 hours. won this green. He took the $10,000 prize and split it up with the other winners, keeping none of it to himself.
That guy's music was way too loud, but honestly, what a story. I mean, 544 miles. I see now where Forrest Gump got the idea from, but I mean, the fact that it took me this long to figure out that it was actually a real story is just wild. Like, but fair play to him, hey, fair play to him.
Man, get your ass in and sit down. Not here to try to prove nothing. Roll the footage.
Roll it.
I think I'll be pissing in my boots.
This is amazing. Oh my god. This is very nice. Wow. Oh my god. Oh, wow. Oh my god. Wow. Wow.
I feel you, girl. I feel you. I feel you.
All that plasma.
They don't believe it. They don't believe it, though.
All that plasma y'all been seeing all night. Right here. All that plasma y'all been seeing at nighttime. Right here. Y'all think it's lightning, but it was Nibiru.
So beautiful, man.
Wow.
Just look outside at night. You'll see plasma throughout your skies. Outside at night.
If you ever see anything like it,
Charging up, baby.
incredible.
You saw that? You saw that?
Yeah.
Oh.
What you doing, girl?
Let's get it.
But is it me, or did the planet look as though it was transparent? Anyways, regardless, is this the reason why the skies are being covered? You know, to protect us from seeing what's behind the clouds? And is this also a reason why there seems to be a pull in the Earth? You know, like in terms of earthquakes that's happening all over the world at the minute, including the likes of Japan or like the volcano in Iceland. And is this the reason why they're building bunkers at the minute? I don't know. It's all speculation at this point.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. They already kicked New Year's off on the BS. Now, y'all can't tell me y'all don't get no ominous feeling from this. They releasing smoke around this building, right? This is their countdown clock. But oh, it gets better. Then they decided to beam a ray coming out of this building into the sky, like the pyramids did. And see, it gets a whole lot more interesting. It starts spelling stuff in the sky, and now, as you can see, people are reacting to it like it's a message from God. Y'all remember we seen something similar to this at the Game Awards show, where they had something pop up in the sky while they was using the smoke. Now, I'm not saying that it's Project BB, but this is definitely interesting. Yeah, 2024, it's about to be a movie.
The guy's not wrong though. I mean, 2024 is going to be one hell of a year. It really is. Yeah, that's got to be edited, and I don't believe that's real life. But still, it doesn't matter. We all know that NASA's fake anyways.
This man is already dead. He just doesn't know it.
Huh? If this video right here is real, that is very bad news for the person filming. This is a video that I found on Reddit where this guy is claiming that somebody sent him this metal object right here. It looks relatively normal until this guy opens it up. Once he opens it up and starts recording over the opening, the camera starts to get very fuzzy. And for those that don't know, this is not a good sign. This means that there's likely radiation present. The entire duration of this 30-second video, this guy's playing around with this, opening it up and closing it up. So, what's going on here? Well, first and foremost, this guy got his hands on something known as a radiation flask. This is what they store radioactive objects in that are dangerous to prevent the radiation from escaping. One thing that's commonly been documented when cameras are around radioactive objects is something called noise. These are all these tiny little white dots here because the radioactive particles are making contact and damaging film. This also impacts digital cameras on the CMOS sensor. So is this guy fine? If this is actual radiation here, probably not, but fortunately I found quite a few sources saying that this video is edited, so this guy should be fine.
So what do you guys think? Do you think it's edited or do you think it's real? For me, I still wouldn't possess that kind of flask anyway, regardless.
I'm in the world's foremost parasite museum here in Tokyo.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. It's kind of cool, it's kind of gross. In history, there was a lot of parasitic infection in all countries. Fortunately, a lot of that's been eliminated, but it's great for people to come and learn about the burden that's there and the great work that's going on. More than 1 billion people in developing countries suffer from parasitic diseases, including guinea worm, sleeping sickness, elephantiasis, river blindness. These are the so-called neglected tropical diseases. There's a few, like guinea worm, that's down to very small numbers. We have others that we have very good tools with the drug companies to actually donate the drugs, since people take these drugs that will clear them, and so the burden is going down slowly but surely. My favorite part of my visit was seeing the world's largest tapeworm. It's 29 feet long. You don't want to have it. It's a real reminder of how parasites start small and grow big, and they're a huge drain on people's health, because the worm is essentially taking the nutrition away. That's an extreme case, but a lot of kids, because of the worms, their ability to succeed in school's not very good. You can't thrive when you have these diseases. That's why our foundation continues to work with partners to eliminate parasitic diseases and the burdens they create. Looks good. It's better on the outside.
Same.
Yeah.
Of course those companies are going to donate. I mean, the way they look at it is they're nothing more than lab rats for their test subject. And then once that becomes successful, they'll just dish it out all over the world. Once again, guys, thanks for chilling out with me this evening. I hope you enjoyed the creepy TikTok compilation. Smash that like button and subscribe button so this video could be recommended to other like-minded people and help it with the YouTube algorithm. And until the next video, please guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you then.